Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. They hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how we evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how we evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, one scream and tell.
Yeah, my name is Jasniti Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
My relationship.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that
Mr. Ali, I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling you.
Mr. Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position aside.
This is not position.
No, we gotta put our position aside and place ourselves into people's shoes. You gotta understand, even those persons who were traveling, yes, they were inconvenienced, but they understood the reason. They understood the reason.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession.
Oh, come on. Good night. Good night. I don't know what's going on with the operator or why the operator put that PPP guy with a cutlass in his hand and the slippers. I don't know. I just don't know. But here's what's going to happen. We'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly. That was shortly. Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Penchap, and we're going to rock and roll this evening for 1 hour. It's elections fever. I don't know if you're feeling the fever, elections fever, that is, not any other kind of fever. Lots of fevers they have in Guyana, you know. They get bush fever, they get dry fever, they get dengue fever, they get all sorts of fever. Are you feeling elections fever? Do you have the elections fever? Are you seeing ning, all sorts of colors? You know, but let me get this out of the way quickly. Those of you, this is an ad. Of course, we're running an ad, right? We're finally running ads here. DJ Shrimpy, August 9th, the Woodbine Ballroom. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. You've got to go there, and it's just a what is it, $30 donation, and support DJ Shrimpy. It's a backyard event, but it's being kept at Woodbine Ballroom. And now Guyanese are something else, right? A backyard event, but it's being kept at Woodbine Ballroom because every single year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the backyard, Shrimpy backyard has been moved, Shrimpy and Claudette, their backyard has been moved to Woodbine Ballroom. Trust me, it's going to be good. I should be out there, mind you. Hey, what else is happening? What's going on with this? Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, shortly. We'll be back shortly, right? What's going on with this guy and this guy and this guy, and his wheelchair? Yep, sorry. We'll be back shortly. Right, shortly. Everybody's coming up. Policies are going to come up shortly. Well, we have a right to be back shortly. We will be back shortly.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set to girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So this convicted fraudster, what's going on with him? Anyways, we have elections, right? It's elections campaign. If it's not the convicted fraudster, is this PPP guy with a cutlass in his hand? If it's not that PPP guy, it's this PPP woman. And look what she's saying. No, this is Asha. Yeah. Right, don't be mistaken with the photograph there. It's Asha Kissoon. She sat in Parliament for a while. She refused to give up the seat to the Anog guys, and so this is what she's saying, that she played the game. This is politics, not church. So she played a game of being scampish. This is the same person that's talking about young people and young people going to get involved in politics. It's scampishness. That is what happens, scampishness. But this is politics. If you have a deal, if you have a commitment, just stick to the commitment. For crying out loud. She knew exactly what she was up to. Give me a damn break. She deserves this award. Can our executive producer please get in touch with Nigel London Eliken. Please. We need to talk. Yeah. We're just signaling our executive producer to get in touch with Apostle Nigel, politician Nigel, immediately. We have to talk with him a couple of minutes. We are going high tech here. Not only high tech, we got some staff members are able to contact our folks now. Executive producer. But look at Asha. Asha is just a waste of time, and she deserves the award here on 107.1 FM. All right, so she got the award, and we've got to go now. We have with us politician Nigel London Eliken with us. Good night, sir. How are you doing?
Greetings to you and greetings to your viewers. I'm doing very well, thanks. And those listening, of course.
Let me
It
just
is well.
congratulate you guys, and I know it's election season and so forth, and that's not because it's election season that we are not going to invite you here on 107.1 FM. This is a platform that we want to give to you because we know that even prior to the elections, you were busy on the ground, standing up and fighting for people's rights. And when people do that from the heart and they're brave enough to do that, I have to salute them. And so, therefore, you're welcome on this platform anytime. Good night again.
I'm grateful. Good night again, and thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to join you. You're among the very few who can have me after such an exhausting day. Come
And
to
I
sit
thank
here
you
just to
so
share
much. I
with you.
appreciate it.
I'm
Yeah.
grateful,
So,
especially traveling on the East Bank and on the Suzakin Highway, which are both death traps and quite consuming. So being time consuming. So getting here was quite tedious, but I have to, of course, engage a brother like you nonetheless.
especially when you're going through the Marco Rubio Highway. um, Apostle, I want to ask a question before we move on, and you're just going to be with us for not more than 15 minutes. Asha Kissoon says she played the game. This is politics, not church. What is your take on this, sir?
It's quite disheartening to know that someone who would have been essentially vested with some degree of trust that she is capable of honoring an agreement and keeping her word, to know that this individual would have plummeted to such a place of what I consider to be absolute dishonesty and deception. It's a sad situation to see ourselves in reference to the political arena, and to know that her explanation was so disrespectful as well. To say there's politics in our church, which apparently to her, it speaks to that politics has to include being deceptive, being dishonest, and not being able to maintain your word. Why, therefore, should anyone select the People's Pathetic Party, sorry, Progressive Party, if you have someone of this caliber?
I think you said pathetic. Was that a mistake?
Pathetic.
It wasn't a mistake. You
It,
were right.
it,
Pathetic
I'm
part.
trying to be nice on your broadcast,
That's
but I
okay.
normally call them pathetic
Yeah.
because see the likes of her, or someone of her ilk, on the list are supporting them speaks volumes because the PPP cannot keep an agreement. That's what she's saying. So she's with the party that speaks to that. I'm not surprised at her being so welcomed, as welcomed over there, because that's where she belongs. However, she shouldn't be anywhere close to a position of authority, which is why we need to have the PPP removed from any political sphere as far as I'm concerned in this nation.
Well said. Well said, Apostle London with us this evening at 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. He's just going to be with us for a few minutes. A busy day. And let me just say to you guys, I appreciate when we made contact with Apostle London, he was getting a little rest, a well-deserved rest. So, Apostle, let's touch on this here. Is it any surprise that the former Guyana Teachers Union president is among new candidates on the PPP Civics list? Are you surprised?
I am by no means surprised. It's an expectation. And it's an expectation that I would like to say has been long in the making. I do not believe this was a hasty decision that was made, because the position and the posture of this gentleman would have spoken to the fact that he would have already been, in some way apologetic towards the things that the PPP would have been doing to teachers who, of course, were paying dues to have him represent them. And the one thing I'm happy about with the PPP selection of candidates in this year's election is that they've chosen the perfect people to represent their general nature, which are people who do not keep promises, people who do not stand up to defend those who pay them to do so, and others who are too weak to even call out the PPP for what they're doing. So they have the perfect flock, if you ask me.
Perfect flock indeed. Nobody's surprised. At least most of our listeners aren't surprised. Twinkle, you shouldn't be surprised here, right? Lester, Tom, and all of you guys, Myrna, Saul. Nobody's surprised. But all along, how should teachers feel? I know that's your background, that's your profession. Lots of members of your family too. They are teachers. How should teachers feel? Because if I were a teacher, this would have been a betrayal for me, knowing that he sat there as a sleeping cell and only to creep out now and made it official. How should teachers across Guyana feel about this, sir?
I think that your description of a teacher's emotion at this time is actually quite clear, and I would like to add to it that I would have been enraged had I been a teacher to know that I would have stood in the sun for 70 plus days, for example, and rain, to know that, and then now to see that the person who I believe would have been able to stand in my and represent my best interest would have chosen to join with the most oppressive regime to ever have to deal with teachers' wages and remuneration, their entire existence in the Ministry of Education. The PPP sought to destroy the union that this gentleman would have represented. And to know that in the year when the PPP chose to do it, which was even unlawful and even sought to disregard a court's instruction, that is the year in which, or the period in which Mark Light chose to say, well, hey, I'm a perfect person to stand on your side. It speaks volumes to what he's always been about. And that I would say, as a teacher, had I been there, I would have been livid to know that this is the kind of people who we have, or these are the persons who would stand to say they want to represent anybody's interest. It is just unfortunate. Guyana is in a very sad state. We're in a crisis, my brother, a crisis in reference to morality and decency. And that, I believe, has to be restored as quickly as possible.
Well said, Apostle Eliakim. London Eliakim is with us. He's also a politician wanting to go into Parliament. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Nobody's shocked about Schuman the opportunist. No. Your take on this again is not a shocker, right?
It is not. And it shows all Guyanese that the way that they voted, the one vote they had, they joined a party, it shows us that they were really essentially just a little tentacle of the PPP, because I've never seen them vote in any way that spoke to them standing up against that regime. And I've never heard Schuman speak in any way to indicate to a Guyanese that he is livid in reference to how the PPP would have been treated in Guyanese. So again, I say they have the perfect list of candidates, because the PPP in 2025 have sought to present to us what I call the in-your-face campaign, where they chose to find some of the worst individuals to tell Guyanese that we can pick the worst of the worst and tell you to accept them. That is how bad their politics has become. They've been so disrespectful, and they've done it for so long that they've mastered the art of telling Guyanese that we'll do whatever we want to you and you have to accept it. I would like to announce to them that September 1st marks a very historic day for in reference to their existence, and I can't wait for it to arrive.
All right, September 1st, indeed. Let's talk about your party. But before we do that, though, a recent announcement. Let's get these musketeers, please, our operator. These musketeers, please. Thank you. So the Guyana Elections Commission have recently announced that the joinder parties cannot share seats. There cannot be a rotation of seats in Parliament. How ridiculous is that? In my opinion, it's ridiculous. But what's your take?
Well, what I can say is that the Guyana Elections Commission would have failed to re-engage political parties, because we had an initial engagement where the deputy commissioner would have, CEO would have said that he would seek direction from the commission, the 6 commissioners, and thereafter he would have reconvened a meeting with the parties to explain to us, clarify to us that which has been on the table for over 2.5 years. There has been no such meeting. We have never been called to another forum, but here you're saying to us what GCOM has said. And these are things that concern me regarding these elections and the preparedness of the Guyana Elections Commission for the elections, because this is a very critical matter. We saw it on display, and we thought that in 2.5 years, the chairman of GCOM, along with the commissioners therein, would have been able to at least present to us in a timely manner decisions that were made. So before we enter into a joint arrangement, if anyone decided to do so, any parties decided to do so, it would have been clear. But the decision to say that you cannot share seats, it's ridiculous. Since the entire purpose of what I consider to be a joint arrangement or a coalition of sort has to be where we have the liberty to say that we are prepared to function in an agreement that's healthy for all in reference to the parties entering into this joinder. Unfortunately, as I said, we've never been contacted or re-engaged by GCOM, so it's just about telling us in your face now again, do whatever we say and just accept what we tell you. No questions asked.
Typical of GCOM under Claudette Singh. Not surprised at all. Today, nominations day, you guys went there, 3 parties in one. Tell us a little bit about this arrangement. Yes. And even after submitted your list, you guys submitted your list. Have you guys identified a prime ministerial candidate? If not, why not? And if so, who is that person?
Well, we had a very interesting experience today at the nomination the exercise because it was, in my view, quite smooth, apart from just one situation whereby the PPP just showed up and were given the privilege of entering second to present their list of nominees and candidates, nominators and candidates, which is not what I think the proper thing to do since they were nowhere on site. We camped out for 4 or 5 days. APNU would have been there for 7 or more, but 7, and here we are encountering yet another situation whereby parties were disrespected. Nonetheless, when we got into the Umana, it was really, really a warm and welcoming experience. I must say that the CEO and the deputy CEO would have been quite cordial. I was happy to see the commissioners present, and the entire environment was quite welcoming. In reference to the prime minister candidate of the Forward Guyana movement, I happen to be the one who is chosen to function in that capacity, and I'm quite honored to say that I was chosen to do the same. Quite interesting that you asked me who it would be, and I have to answer, which is not a comfortable position for me. I don't like doing that, but nonetheless, you asked.
Well, let me say congratulations to you, a fighter, as someone who, it's not that you just came out of some hiding place and suddenly concerned about people's rights. It's not like you just popped out of a hole and suddenly concerned about extrajudicial killings and so forth and so on. There are a few folks who are like that, but we'll talk about them some other time. Congratulations. But what's the mood like? What's the feel like on the ground with this coming together of the three parties?
It's what I consider to be a healthy coalition. That's what we describe it as. Where there is truly a sharing of I don't want to call it power, but I call it responsibility. Where we together, the principals being Amanza Walton Desir, our presidential candidate. I'm the prime ministerial candidate. Doran Best is the chairman of the Forward Guyana movement. And even in reference to the list or the representatives of the list, we've got Amanza Walton Desir being the representative and Francis Michael Bailey being the deputy. So there is among us that responsibility of knowing that we have to function in a circle of leadership rather than a triangle. And that is what we have been, in reference to the people's movement, advocating for. And so to find this healthy niche, this healthy environment in which we can truly function as a coalition, as a unit, as a body who knows that if we show the Guyanese people that there are three leaders who are willing to function as though we are one, it's healthy. Instead of having one person saying, well, I'm the head honcho, I'm the man in charge, or I'm the woman in charge, nobody else has a say. That is not healthy coalition for me. And I believe that the environment in which we found ourselves as the People's Movement, VPAC, and Forward Guyana is one in which we can be an example to the Guyanese public as to what a coalition should look like and how it should function. Hence, I'm happy to be at home, as one person said. There's a rice farmer from the quarantine, your village, well, not your village, but the area, Upper Quarantine, who said that he feels at home, and he's one of the national candidates. Shazan said he feels, for the first time in decades, he feels at home. And that actually is really refreshing for me to hear.
Refreshing indeed. We are hearing the other parties. Some of them don't even have policy, like Win Guyana, headed by Azruddin. He doesn't even know what policy. He doesn't know everything. It's shortly. These elections are a serious thing. It's not a comedy show. But that's another story. We'll talk about that as well. Well, we will talk about that here on 107.1 FM, because you can't slip up on people at the last minute unless you're this guy.
3 general election.
But who are some of the persons on your list? Who are give us some of the names on your list? Who are some of the people on your list? What are their names?
Well, not a one like that, but as a general, because the candidates, 300 candidates.
And who are they? Give us
200.
Give us some names.
From the local government.
Give us some names.
Dr. Maloney.
Yes, and who are the others? Who are the other members? Give us some other names on the list.
No, I got no other name, just Maloney.
So just one person.
All right, just Maloney alone. The other one is full of baloney. Then we have Maloney. Let's Apostle. I notice you're trying to keep a straight face. That's okay. It's elections. It's election season, sir. What's happening in it? Let's take a look at this video here.
We voted red. We voted red. We voted red. Everybody say loud. We voted for the couple. We voted President Ali for progress on his stuff. A victory for PPPC is a victory for everybody.
What's going on in Linden? Big pashwe, as they would say. How does that make you feel that the PPP is going into those communities, paying those individuals to pay red, and also encouraging them to fight against each other?
What's new, Mark? I'm extremely upset to know that these individuals we would describe them to be are allowed to function in this manner because essentially the PPP is causing, or the leadership, I should say, have caused Guyanese of their persuasion to believe that they could do whatever they want, wherever they want to. And one report I got is that they assembled in front of the house of a young man who was shot here in Linden during the protest. And so the family would have been very upset. I think that's one angle it took. And then, of course, there would have been rivalries and these things. But it's sad to know that this party, who claims to be so caring and so loving, can have people with cutlasses and guns in their hands. What is happening to our country? But here's my point, though. I do not see Anil Nandlal, I call his name, labeling this young man a terrorist. But Nurse King, who they said didn't tell the truth, is a terrorist. That's where I want to take this. I don't see any one of these people here in red being charged and brought before the court and have no bail afforded to them because they're terrorists. It tells me, therefore, that the PPP would have chosen to take a path, again, in your face campaign, I call it on their part. This is a part of the in your face campaign. We're Nurse King, you're a terrorist. Young men, if you burn a tire on the road, you're a terrorist. But these who chase you with cutlasses, you're not a terrorist. You're a supporter of the party. What does that tell you as Guyanese? And what does it tell you about informing your mind or informing others around you as to how you ought to vote? Determining in your mind and informing others as to how you ought to choose or select those who will lead you. Do you want to be led by people who are terrorists but are seen as supporters? Or do you choose to be led by those who are upright, strong, and would not tolerate this behavior at any point in time? This is just the beginning, I must say, though, because it will get worse with the PPP. They're known for nothing better.
Absolutely. Apostle, lots of our listeners, they're saying that the PPP is desperate. And I agree with them. The PPP is desperate. You're there on the ground. How desperate is the PPP?
They're very desperate, so desperate that they want to tell people that they'll do well, but yet they do everything to prevent people from exercising their franchise and their right to associate. The law of Guyana affords every Guyanese the right or the freedom to associate. The PPP is threatening, through their agents, individuals who want to associate with other parties. So they're saying that people have said it repeatedly because Ford Guyana movement spend days on the ground, not searching through some phone book or some database that grab people's names and signatures. We simply said that we are going to walk wherever we have to through 7 regions to engage people for them to understand what is it they're going to enter for in reference to candidacy. And so when you speak to people, businessmen and others, they're saying that they would like to support, they love the vision of Ford Guyana movement, but they cannot have their names on a list of candidates because they know that Bharat Jagdio's PPP would victimize them, would cut their business down, would shut them down. And I would like to say that even today we received a telephone call that someone who was entered as a candidate, a businesswoman, they told her to her face that if you don't support the PPP, we will stop doing business with you. That is what they represent. They are that desperate. I spoke up today for the Win party because I don't care which party you're from. Wrong is wrong. when the police would have hindered buses coming from Linden from going to that event. It is wrong. It is entirely unacceptable. And I do not mind who is in the race. It should not happen. But these people have gotten so desperate that they're doing everything they can to stymie parties, to intimidate people, to do whatever they can. And I would like to say as well that in their efforts to do so, they're demonstrating to us how desperate they are, because they know that in 49 or so days from now, they will not be allowed to do anything to us that they once did. I believe that with all of my heart.
All right, 36 minutes after 9 o'clock. People are just collecting their monies for T-shirts and buses. And this is a year where people spending their money. Some get billions and they're spending it out. 40,000, 30,000. PPP spending the taxpayers' monies as well. They have billions of dollars in taxpayers' money and they're spending it. Spending it out. 30,000. One young lady said today, 30,000 for a T-shirt. The PPP paying. The others paying, and y'all know the others that's paying to renting buses and all, paying. This is a paying elections. I don't know if you guys are paying. I haven't heard anything about that.
By no means. We're paying attention.
Tell us why should people, when they walk into that voting booth on the 1st of September, why should they give your party a chance? 3 reasons why, sir.
Thank you. Reason number 1 is because we intend to stand for justice. We intend to demonstrate to all Guyanese that among the leaders, I'm standing as the prime ministerial candidate. I have pledged my life, and I mean it. With all that I do, I have pledged to ensure that our daughter Adriana Young is not forgotten, and that the PPP agents within them and whoever would have been responsible for seeking to cover up this murder, they shall face the full force of any law. Even if we have to go to Parliament to make amendments to the Constitution to deal with them, as high up as the president, it will happen, because there must be justice. We are on a course of correction, correcting the ills of our society. So the very first thing in your mind should be, who is prepared to maintain focus on the fact that our children in this country must be safe? Our females must be valued and respected. And that's the second reason, because the Constitution actually stipulates that we should have 33% of our list being females. For Forward Ghana movement, we have 67%. We've doubled it with 1 more percent. Why have we done that? There's 67% of our candidates who happen to be females. Why? Because we believe that females must play a very critical role in our experience. Youthful females as well. Our spectrum in reference to the age demographic are among us. Additionally, there's a young lady who is also differently abled. She's in a wheelchair, but yet Bibi is with us and Bibi is a candidate. These are all situations where you can recognize the difference of approach. And finally, Forward Ghana movement is on a very intense anti-corruption campaign, coupled with a campaign of propriety, where we intend, at all costs, to serve you in a proper and a decent manner, and to ensure that Guyanese understand what the leaders ought to do, which is to serve them, to listen to what you have said, to have policies that are generated from what you have said, and to ensure that your experiences are healthy. One such example is that we do not believe that our brothers and sisters in this nation should be waiting for 3, 4, 5, 20, 16 years to acquire a plot of land. And when they acquire it, it's in a swamp. And we call that development. No, we believe that as a Guyanese, you should not have to even pay for a house lot. And we mean it with all of our hearts. We have enough land. What we need to do is to create systems where you are able to be attracted or in some way compelled within your mind, not by us, but just the thought of having an opportunity to transition to another environment where you can farm or you can engage in a healthy lifestyle, where we build other cities around our nation. These are things that we would like to present to you, among many others. You may ask about what about the 10-day workers? Why should we vote for you? Would we lose the 10 days of employment? No, it shall be increased, because we believe they should work for an entire month, not 10 days. How would it happen? Because we're able to generate realistically a revival within our system, our internal structure of revenue, where if we have national or state-owned entities like quarries, we'll have employment for you. And out of those transactions, we're able to provide jobs for Guyanese people. And along with the jobs we provide for you, you'll be trained to function effectively in the oil and gas industry, among others. So there's so many plans that we have for you based on your desire and your request. What you have asked us to do is what we prepare to do, whereby we're saying to you that we understand that we have to serve in order to lead you. And that's exactly what we ought to do.
Let's say, for example, you guys are going in this to win. Everybody goes in to win, except
definitely,
except this guy. He's not going in. He says, "Look, he's not going to win."
3 general election.
He said point blank, he's not going in to win. How would you guys? How would you guys divide up the seats in Parliament? How is this going to happen?
It will happen by obviously quality and not window dressing, as my sister Mans would have put it today. It is not going to be a fight and a tussle to say, give us 1/3 each or else. We believe that on our list of candidates, there are those who are capable and there are those who are qualified enough to function. We believe that our systems in our society must be readjusted and recalibrated to have persons who are efficient and effective, not who are party aligned, but who are efficient and who are effective. The People's Movement, for example, the nature of our functionality is that if you are qualified to do it, then you should do it. If you have the right attitude to do it, then more than likely you should. And more than anything else, if you're doing it for the people, then you must be allowed to do so. So there will be no fighting here. There's no percentage tussling on this side of the fence. We're saying that those who are qualified will enter. Those who are capable shall be allowed to perform. And more importantly, we have the spirit to say that we are prepared to even rotate positions when the time comes. That's healthy for us.
Asha Kissoon and Anog and those sort of people, the scampishness by Schumann and them. I'm not suggesting that that's going to be the case here, but thank you so
Not
much
over
for
here.
that explanation. And I wish to ask you this particular question, though, as it pertains to your parties or the three parties constituency. Some folks may say that there is not sufficient evidence to suggest that you guys are chipping away or affecting the PPP base, but you're affecting the pool of supporters for the opposition to grab a few here instead of having it go straight to that big tent. You guys are grabbing a few there. It's something that they would say splitting the votes. Do you agree with that, splitting the votes?
I don't agree with splitting any vote. I would agree that every Ghanaian has the right to choose who they want to lead them or who they would like to have serve them. And this campaign is very simple for all of us. If you examine the nature of the PPP and what they've done, as I said in reference to the likes of Quinn and Bacchus, or in Boston, where they called, as I would say again, Nurse King, a lady who they said didn't tell the truth. They called her a terrorist. Now, when you have that kind of people, when you cover the murder of an 11-year-old up, and you hold people in prison up until now as terrorists, then it's obvious that the choice is simple. So let me help those of you who may be concerned. If you do not vote for the PPP, they wouldn't win. So you have choices. You may have 6 other options. Choose some among them. But if you do not, or the PPP supporters are in any way human beings with a modicum of decency, you would never support a party that covers up the murder of a child. And I would hold on to this until I die. You would never support a party who calls a lady who doesn't, in their view, tell the truth, a terrorist. You wouldn't support it. You'd never support a party who would take someone who was accused of being a rapist, didn't have a day in court because of meanderings of his political contacts, raping a 16-year-old girl, the accusation was, and now they put him back on the list. How would any mother in the PPP say, I want to support that? So you don't care about your child? You want to support a party who has, according to one account, a pandit who raped a 13-year-old girl and paid a little money and got off? What are we doing here? So it is simple for us, and I hope it's simple for you. Just don't vote for the party who has endangered the life of your children, your family members, and the well-being of our nation. So there's no splitting of any vote. People have a right to choose who they want to function with. Additionally, I do not believe, and we do not subscribe in the Forward Guyana movement to the notion that any party owns people. Therefore, Guyanese have a right to examine what is on the table, who would be there to represent them in the House of Assembly and in higher offices, and that is where they'll make their choice. That's simple to me. So I'm not concerned about splitting anything. What I would like to inform people about is that September 1st may very well surprise those of you who think that you own anybody because you have a wake-up call. You don't own people. You do not own people. And in this information sharing age, be careful about how you handle individuals who you think you have absolute control over. It's not a good thing to do.
Nigel London, Eliakim, Apostle is with us, politician and the prime ministerial candidate. What will be the first thing you guys would do as soon as you never know how the elections go, as soon as you guys get into parliament? What would be the first thing that you would do? I noticed someone is saying that some Jinnah Rahman or something broke rank and gone over with those folks who have been sanctioned. But then again, that's okay. Jinnah has been floating around for many years. But what will be the first act that you guys would do for the Guyanese people, for your party to be elected?
Have a list of those who should spend the rest of their lives in jail. Sorry.
Might be a long list.
Exactly so. But what the first thing we'll do is to ensure that Guyanese are certainly confident and they're comfortable. Two things. They must be confident that this batch of leaders would not seek to intimidate, harass, victimize you because you didn't vote for us or anything of that nature, or seek to give you favorite treatment because you voted for us. You must be comfortable as well in Guyana again. There must be a breath of fresh air where people believe that they can get up, go to work, and it's okay. Additionally, they will certainly be focused on reforming the Constitution. The experience of parties, even that gentleman you saw today, old man, faithful, I should say, campaigner. An individual must have the right in our country to stand and make representation, if he's elected to do so, in the House of Assembly, wherever it is. This whole nonsense whereby if somebody lives in Region 1, that person has to make contact with people in 5 other regions just to have one chance or one seat, it is ridiculous. It is, in my view, constitutionally dictatorial. It is bureaucratic rigging on the part of 2 major parties just to ensure they disenfranchise others. That would be our focus, where the Constitution is reformed. Additionally, the presidential immunity to prosecution in many cases will have to be adjusted, will have to be examined, whereby the likes of Irfan Ali, even when he's out of office, will revisit what you've done in it and have a special jail bill for you all.
Well said. I know we just promised you just about 15 or 20 minutes. Final question.
You always do this, huh? you see that? It's past my bedtime.
I know.
I'll lose my wrinkles wouldn't go.
Candidate, please do forgive me, but before we
it's
go,
okay.
What's happening in Linden or Region 10? How would that go? Because we see quite a lot of folks in their red with their cutlass, they're fighting. We see some folks in their blue. We are waiting to see a large turnout in green. You guys are the purple. Is Linden up for grabs?
Every part of Guyana is up for grabs. And in Linden, what we're up for is representation, not grabs. Nobody's going to come to grab us in this case. But in Linden, what we know for sure is that numbers in reference to who wears T-shirts do not matter to us. What matters to Lindeners is who represent them. I'll share with you a brief experience of mine. I was passing the blue wave, I call it today, the blue train, and greeting everyone because I don't have no enemies. My only enemy, individually, my only is the PPP. Nobody else. They are too evil and too wicked to even be a part of Ghana's democracy. But that's another story. So as I was walking past the Wind Party, people were saying, and we were waving, and one group attempted to be a little hostile, and people said, no. That's we Linden man. Some Linden folks said, no, that's us. That we from Linden, we together, not him. And it spoke volumes to the fact that they said one young man, who they may call a scrape, whatever, they said, no, when we have problem, he stands for us. That's what they said. And to me, it meant a lot to know that the youth of my community understand representation. So they can be 10,000 blue or 50,000 green or whatever colors. It doesn't matter to us. I believe that Lindeners understand representation. And if they choose to have us represent them, so shall it be. If they choose not to, I'll still represent my people of Linden because I love Linden. I don't love elections, I love Linden.
Thank you so much for that. It's 50 minutes after 9 o'clock. What's your final message for now, Prime Ministerial candidate, to the people who are on the fence, undecided, still don't know what to do, still don't know where to go, where to put their X, and they are being confused by all sort of trickeries and people who are selling dreams and people who are not that patriotic but now jump out of the blue to claim or to pretend that they're patriotic. But we know you're a fighter, though. And I'll say this publicly, and I've said it privately, and I've said this to Wayne and others, that you're a fighter. But what's your closing remarks for folks out there?
Thank you. My closing remark would be to those who are undecided, you're not certain, which represents actually about 45 or so % of the voting population in Guyana. Most people don't know who they want to vote for because they say, we don't want the PPP, but we do not want anyone who doesn't represent us well either. What you have today in the Forward Guyana movement is a party of representation, but more than anything else, a healthy coalition where leaders are not functioning in isolation, where we function in reference to what is called consensus. We make decisions together. The people are listened to. We engage persons. We interact with you physically, and we engage you thoroughly in reference to understanding what your desires are. Additionally, if you don't know who to choose in an election period, take your time. Consider what is before you. And most importantly, do not vote based on what some family member tells you, but decide based on what you know is well for you as a person. Who has stood for you? Who has represented you? More than anything else, have you seen, for example, the likes of Darwin Bess, who suffered immensely at the hand of the PPP and who refused to bow to them? Do you see courage or do you see opportunists? Do you see those who are able to give you money to do something, or you see those who saying to you, let us unite to make money for all of us? What are you seeing? You see a Manza Walton Desir, for example, who didn't cross the floor to just join some party and make it life easy. He said, let's do something that's new and let's do this together. That's what you have afforded to you. And like I say, most importantly, do you have a leader amongst your camp or in your camp, the camps you're examining, for example, who's prepared to say that for as long as I breathe, those who murdered Adriana will not be allowed to get away with it. And I'm not playing with that. I don't care if I have to go to the end of Jupiter. They will have to pay. So this voyage of mine, potentially to the House of Assembly, is not about just linear representation. It's to get to those who did that to that girl and deal with them based on the power of the law and Constitution. That's my mission.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your 15 minutes right here on 107.1 FM. Don't be a stranger. 49 days still there. The platform is always here for good people, patriotic people, not us. This is not, and I've noticed, thank you so much, Apostle. Appreciate your time, sir. Yeah. Apostle Nigel London there. I've noticed someone in the audience saying that it doesn't matter who goes in as long as you get rid of the PPP. Well, of course, the objective is getting rid of the PPP regime, voting them out of office, let them go. But it does matter who gets in. Don't be fooled. It does matter who gets in. And you want to be able to put good people in office to represent your interests. Do not allow emotions, guys, to get away in thinking that whoever it is goes in there. You've got to be careful with your leaders. Otherwise, can't eat your dinner. Somebody said that they're going to get house slats if Mohammed. Come on, you get house slats under the coalition government. The Mohammeds them had 83,000 acres and all these different things. You think they cared about you guys then? You think they give a rat's, you know what, about you guys then? No, they didn't. What makes you think they're going to care about you now? Come on, read between the lines. Think smart, guys. So it matters who you vote to put in office. It does matter. This gangster has got
there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship?
Yeah, Su. Take a look at what's happening. The PNC is being attacked from all sides. The PNC is being attacked by the PPP. With the likes of Kaupen guys and others, They're being paid to go out and recruit members of the PNC, that is, and grab a few of them and take them over. And then you have the Azradeen guys them. Don't be fooled, guys, into thinking that Azradeen guys them are injuring the PPP. There is no evidence that they are injuring the PPP. Where's our operator? There's no evidence that these guys are attacking and injuring the PPP. I don't know where you guys getting this from, but there's evidence, sufficient evidence, in order to substantiate my claim that they are basically targeting PNC stronghold areas. That is what is happening here. So the chipping away will come from the PNC. There is no evidence that they're chipping away in Port Moran, Blackbush Polder, and these places. It is PNC support base they're going after. When are you guys going to come to the realization as to what is happening? Have you heard any attack recently between them, exchanges between Azradeen Mohammed, his group, and Jack Dew and them? You're not hearing anything any longer. It's like it's a done deal because Jack Dew and these guys have realized that the Blue Party, or whatever it is basically getting more support from the PNC stronghold areas. That is what is happening. And if these guys can chip away at the PNC support areas, it weakens the PPP. And now there are some of you who are going to jump up and say, well, you know what? Our Indian brothers and sisters, they're silent supporters. They're not going to come out, but they are supporting silently. Do not buy that garbage. Do not buy it. Because I keep saying to you guys, you continue with that falsehood. You continue with that emotional kind of thinking. Cat is going to eat y'all dinner. Because Azradeen's party is not doing any damage to the PPP. There is no evidence of such. Now, if you can show me the evidence that their party, that they're going to go in predominantly PPP support area, send them to Enmore. I want to see a large crowd in Enmore. Don't tell me that they're silent voters. You're being brainwashed with that. They're not silent voters. The most majority of the PPP supporters have already made their minds up. Do not be brainwashed in these elections. Now, have you seen Azradeen's party gone into Port Moran, Blackbush Polder, and get large numbers and so forth? No, you're not going to see that either, because every time they go into those areas, they get a resistance. There is resistance. There is. But they're feel comfortable, go into Kokwani, go into Linden, go back into Georgetown, Sophia and these areas, but y'all don't tell me about silent voters, you know. There's no evidence, guys, and I don't want to keep repeating myself on that. And I keep saying, y'all gonna eat y'all dinner if y'all continue being as naive. Some of you guys, wake up and smell the coffee. If you can't wake up and see the game that's being played right in front of your eyes, something is definitely wrong. Not wrong, something is definitely wrong. And we're all seeing it. So don't come with this notion that get rid of the PPP and you don't care who go in there. You've got to be concerned about who goes in there to govern the welfare of our country, to govern the welfare for all Guyanese. Do not be brainwashed. It is important who goes in there. It is important who you elect to be your next president. It is important to elect a party or a group of individuals who are patriotic, who are concerned about your interests, who have a track record of that, and who you can put your trust in. You've got to be careful, guys. So don't run around saying you don't care who goes in there. You don't care, just as long as the PPP goes. Kick the PPP out and put anybody else. And then guess what? You get a PPP 0.2, or you get somebody else that's even worse than the PPP. You know what I mean? Be careful. Be extra careful, guys. The future of Guyana is at stake. And come September 1st, you've got to vote for the future. You've got to vote to save Guyana. This is not voting to save anybody who is in serious trouble. This is not saving one man who is in serious trouble. This is about saving a country that is in serious trouble. This is not about bribing people to wear t-shirts and bribing people for this and vote bribery and so forth, and taking money, spending money, 40,000 for people to show their ID card when they're going to vote and all nonsense. Is that how you guys want Guyana to develop? Is that how you guys think Guyana is going to be, a better country, a better place? I don't know. Y'all think. Y'all be smart, guys. Don't allow emotions to get in the way. There are lots of people, lots of injustices over the years, for 20-odd years, injustices, extrajudicial killings, you name it. All these sorts of things happen. And people didn't give a rat's about that then. But suddenly, they care. Overnight, they care because they want your vote. They want to swear you because they don't have any, there's no evidence that they ever cared about you. There's no evidence that they ever cared about human rights violations in Guyana. There's no evidence that they ever cared about extrajudicial killings and gang killings and all these sort of things. Never cared about you. Be careful who you hug up. Be careful who you embraced. You might embrace your biggest enemy thinking that they're there to save you, but only to make you worse off. Think about Guyana. Think about the future of our young people. And therefore, Guyana deserves to be placed in the hands of good people. People with a good track record. Decent people, mind you, who can save Guyana and not save themselves. My name is Mark Benshaw. I'll be back shortly. Speaking of I'll be back shortly, policies are important. And policies are not thrown at you at the last minute. You want leaders that could articulate their points, their vision for a country, not piggyback and copyright and cut and paste here and there and come to you with some sort of sweet talk to sell dreams. Dreams can never become reality. You guys wake up, smell the coffee. I'm out of here. I'll be back shortly. And my shortly is tomorrow, 9 o'clock, right here on 107.1 FM. Wake up, guys, and be smart. Vote good people into office. So long.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata from City Vietnam. And since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
Three general election.
But who are some of the persons in your list?
For the best.
Who are give us some of the names in your list? Who are some of the people on your list? What are their names?
Well, not a one I done, but as a general, because of the candidates, 300 candidates.
And who are they? Give us
200.
Give us some names.
From the local government.
Give us some names.
Dr. Maloney.
Yes, and who are the others? Who are the other members? Give us some other names on the list.
No, I got no other name, just Maloney.
So just one person contesting the election?
Yeah, the same names contesting the election.
So one for all.
But I got something is the local democratic organs. Those are the mayor election.
And what are some of your policies?
All right.
What are some of the policies you'd like to see be put in place to run Guyana?
And
what will you do for the ordinary man?
Like 300 constituency.
What will you do for the ordinary people? If your party wins, what will you do for the ordinary people in Guyana?
I don't think we could win, but we could just get a seat, you know, maybe in the RDC, you know, or the regional.
Thank you.
We voted red. We voted red. We voted red. Everybody say aloud. We voted for the couple. We voted President Ali for progress on his struggle. A victory for PPPC is a victory for everybody.
Yo! Y'all better move the car from there because that is expensive. That is expensive. Move. Elijah, come here. Elijah, move next to me. What is happening almost every time we get people wrong election time?
Really? Some 5 hours going.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, then losing it by data.